Alrighty, so if you are doing new shit, you're learning new skills, you're feeling scared, you want to take the comfortable path, there's a part of you deep down that really wants to just start taking the comfortable path, throwing in the towel, quitting, giving up, whatever, and you're finding it hard to push yourself to do the difficult thing. You're about to get on stage, you're about to get on a sales call, you're about to record a YouTube video. And you're starting to sweat, you're starting to get uncomfortable, you're starting to wonder if any of this is even worth it, then this video is for you. My name is Yahya Kazi. If you don't know me already, I operate for a school community, one of the top school communities on the platform. We scaled from basically nothing to making close to $1 million a year within a year, which is pretty cool. And in today's video, I'm going to be talking about my process for making sure that I am able to learn new skills, making it as easy as possible for myself. And this goes into sort of the mindset around it. It goes into basically just figuring out how to push through all those doubts in your head, how to make sure that you know that you are on the right path to succeeding. So again, like I do all kinds of crazy shit all the time. I speak on stages. I go on sales calls. High ticket sales calls are something that really stress me out at this current stage of my career. I record YouTube videos, for example. Like I'm not totally comfortable being on camera all the time. You know, I've got bags under my eyes, got a bunch of insecurities. I'm like, should I wear the nose strip or not? And so, like, don't get me wrong, I'm human. I get anxious or nervous or whatever word you want to describe it. I get into a lot of those moments where I'm like, right before I'm about to join a sales call, I'm like, wow, I really don't want to do this. And I push through and I realize it's worth it. And I have gotten to a point where it's like, I want to share this with someone. I want to make sure that other people who are struggling with this know that number one, they're not alone and that there's a way through it. And so number one is something that I've been talking about a lot recently is preparing your information diet. Having an information diet that is so well balanced, and the definition of an information diet is basically just watching the right YouTube videos, reading the right books, watching courses and stuff like that. Constantly training your mind to where you are consuming the type of content that is going to push you forward in your career. And so for me, like when I'm reading a bunch of books on like successful entrepreneurs and gathering lessons from them, when I'm watching YouTube videos online or watching free courses on how to do business, how to operate, how to do all of these things, I have a lot more information within my toolkit that I can use in whatever situation, whether it's sales, whether it's marketing, whether it's customer service, fulfillment, etc. I may not be an expert, but I at least can draw upon experience that other people have had, that I have learned from them. And, if I don't fully understand something, I can go and the best skill to have is not necessarily being able to keep all the information in your head. More so, it's being able to find that information wherever it may be stored, right? If you know, oh, I have, ChatGPT, or I have this book that I read a long time ago, or I know there's this free course from someone that I trust, etc. That is so valuable to have in your toolkit. So just in general, having that prepared, this we're talking big picture here, long term, making sure that your information diet is down. Number two is, still number one is really just preparing, right? So I guess number one and number two it is preparing, right? If you have a sales call coming up, if you have a YouTube video that you're about to record, if you are doing something scary, prepare, over prepare. Make sure that you have researched, that you have practiced, that you have done every single thing that you possibly could do. That it doesn't, Alex Hormozi puts it this way, like, do so much that it's unreasonable for you to fail, right? Because if you're staying up late at night, like me, when I'm doing a presentation or something like that, I get nervous. I get so nervous, I will stay up for nights, multiple nights, making sure that I'm repping it, I'm going through it. If I have someone to practice with, I'll do that. If I don't, then I'll, like in the past, I've practiced in front of like a crowd of stuffed animals. Like whatever I can do to put myself in that situation and rehearse it so that when the day comes, I'm ready, I will do it. Right? It's the same thing with sales calls. Like if you think about any successful sales team, they have role playing, right? When someone is not on a call, they're role playing with another team member of theirs so that they're constantly in that environment, because the first best thing you can do to learn is to do it and fail and learn from that. And the second best thing is to do it with someone else and practice with like your team, for example. And from that, and again, you don't need someone else to practice with, like, again, the stuffed animals. But as long as you're going through it, you're putting in the reps, you're constantly preparing the night before and over preparing. Like, I'll even give sales as a specific example. For each sales call that I get on, I research the person. I go to their Instagram, I go to their YouTube, I go to their Skool community. I look through everything that I can to figure out what is a possible bottleneck that this person is having with their business. When I'm looking at their Instagram, I might be thinking, like, what is something cool that I relate to them with, right? What is something that I can bring up on the call and be like, oh my God, like we're buddies, build up that rapport, right? Because 5 minutes of research can make you look smarter than 99% of people. So prepare. So that was number one and number two. Number three, I actually touched on it already, actually, is just making notes, right? Making call notes before you do a sales call, making bullet points before you make a YouTube video. That's what I'm reading off of. If you are doing something scary, but you've put in the reps and you have the ability to like look at your notes and draw off of them, really just writing things down in general makes it click a lot more in your head. So it's really just part of that preparation for things. Number four is, I don't know the best way to describe it other than betting on yourself. And this is something that won't really click in your head, at least it didn't for me, until you're a little bit further down the line. You've put in the reps, you've had the successes, you keep going from there. But when it comes down to it, there's no one you can trust more than yourself. Then you should trust more than yourself, right? If you're a grown adult, you should be able to bet on yourself, right? Again, I have prepared so much for this. There's no reason I could fail, right? And even if I fail on this rep, that doesn't mean I failed forever. That just means I get another shot to make things right, right? Again, I am betting on myself that this will work out. I'm betting on myself. This is a really big one that I use. I'm betting on myself that I'll figure it out in the moment. And that's something, again, that I use a lot because I have a tendency to sort of imagine myself in the scenario, like starting to stop being present where I'm at and start to just think in the future and start getting really nervous or anxious or whatever about the sales call or the presentation or whatever. I start to think about, like, what's the perfect thing I could say? What's the perfect way that this could go? Rather than just staying present, preparing as much as possible, and knowing when the time comes, I'll be ready, right? It puts me a lot more at peace when I can know from past experience that I've been okay, that I didn't die even if I failed, that, again, I bet on myself. And the last thing, which I've been touching on a lot, actually, is accepting that failure is a part of the process. You will fail. I've failed, and even more than failure, it's failing in public, failing in front of other people, failing in front of people that are making more money than you, that are more successful than you, failing in front of people that you really look up to and want to impress. Oh, I've done it all. I've done it all. And there's nothing more humbling than failure, and there's nothing more teaching than failure, both teaching you what you did wrong and how to improve, and teaching the people that are watching, right? If you have people that are looking up, or that you're looking up to, that are watching you, if you have all of these people that you're trying to impress or that you're trying to work for or whatever, and you fail in front of them, it's not the failure that they're looking at. It's, will this person get back up? Because that person themselves, any successful person that you bring up, I mean, you could list out a whole list of people that are successful. I will find you can find a graveyard of failures behind them, because that's where they come from, right? You will find all kinds of successful entrepreneurs that have failed businesses, all kinds of people like me, for example, that have tried and failed to work with certain people, tried and failed on sales calls, etc., etc. Like, I've made so many mistakes, more than I can count, that it's funny to me today, and it's honestly the fun part of the journey, because I get to have this great story of how I failed, how I went through the hero's journey, all the ups and downs, and then finally I did it. Like, all at once, everything worked out. Again, months, years of this. And honestly, at the end of the day, you start to realize, again, no one really cares when you fail. No one is really like worrying that much. Like, if you're in the NBA, right, you're Michael Jordan or something, you lose a game-winning shot, people will care, for sure. Definitely, especially if they bet money on you. But after a while, what's the worst that's going to happen? Some people care that you fail. You didn't die. You continued on. And then what does Michael Jordan do? He wins another game. And that failure that he had before doesn't matter anymore, right? So even at the highest stakes, failure is not the end, right? And especially if, like, you're starting from the beginning, even if you're at the middle, if you're at my level, if you're ahead of me, the stakes are just not that big. It's okay to fail. It's okay to fail. And it's even greater if you can fail and get back up and do it again, and maybe fail once or twice again, and then get back up and do it again and win.